Hey everybody, I wanted to come on and make a video just talking about my pregnancy with my daughter, labor, delivery, just the whole story of that. And at the end, I had a couple questions that Kendra B asked, and I was just going to answer those at the end of this video. So, okay, let's see. In March of 2010, I had earlier in that month I had complained a few times to my husband about me having some, like, it wasn't a pain, like it wasn't something that was like really hurting me. It was kind of just like this weird dull cramp that I had, pretty much like my lower abdomen. And I had it for a few weeks, but I never really thought much about it. I would just say something to him here and there about it, and he's like, "You need to go to the doctor." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I need to go to the doctor probably, but it's not painful, so it's probably not that big of a deal." So I just kind of went on with life, and finally, I was like, well, it's not going away. It wasn't getting worse, but it wasn't going away either. So my husband kept saying, "You need to go to the doctor, find out what it is. You don't know what it could be. It could be something serious, and you just don't know it." So I was like, "Okay, well, when I get off work today, I'll just stop by like one of our little minute clinic in and out kind of places and see what they have to say about it." But while I was at work, I decided, for some reason, like, I don't really know why I had the urge to take a pregnancy test. I guess the fact that I knew once I got to the doctor's office, they were going to give me a pregnancy test anyways. So I was like, well, then I could be like, I took one, it's negative, so whatever. On to the next. So I bought a pregnancy test from where I worked, and I went back and I took it. And after I took the test, I put the cap on it and sat it on the back of the toilet and started washing my hands. And when I got done washing and drying my hands, I reached over. I was going to take the test and just throw it away because I knew it was negative. Why bother? Picked it up, and what did I see? Blue cross. Freaked out. I really didn't know what I was feeling at the time. I was nervous. My legs turned to jello. Like, I was shaking, and I just kept saying, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." Looking at the test, like, oh my god. So I ran back up to the front, got another got another pregnancy test, and went back and took it too. And of course, it came back positive. So I just called my husband and I was like, "You need to get here now." Like, now. It was pretty awesome timing because he was leaving to go to a birthday party for like a family get together for his mom's birthday. Happy birthday. But he got there and I went out and sat in his truck with him, and of course I'm sitting there all quiet and he's like, "Well, what is it? What's so important that I just had to come by here?" And I reached in my pocket and pulled out the pregnancy test and just handed it to him, and then I just lost it and just started bawling like a baby. I was crying. And he's like, "Okay, so let's see, we're gonna need a crib. We're gonna need this and that." I mean, he automatically, typical John, went into his planning mode of, this is what we need. This is what we have to have. And I'm like, you're not mad? So I'm freaking out, and he was like, it's, me being the way I am, is I automatically think the worst of everything for some reason, and that's not a good thing, I guess. If you don't get yourself excited about things, or you kind of look for something to go wrong, it's like if it were to happen, then you wouldn't be as hurt, I guess. It's just it's a reflex I have. I can't help it. But anyways, so we went. I went back to work, and he went to his grandmom's. But I'm trying to remember. I did go to our Pri-Med that we have, and had a pregnancy test done there. I want to say that was before he went and told his grandmama, before they went, I think. Anyways, I did go to Pri-Med, and like apparently the test popped right up. Like as soon as the pee started running across the test strip, it just popped right up. So they're like, yeah, you are definitely pregnant. You are definitely very pregnant, because it just popped right up. They didn't do any other tests or anything. They gave me a prescription for prenatals and all that good stuff. But anyways, he went, he told his family, and they were super excited. And then I called my mom, and I felt like I was 15 years old telling my mom that I was pregnant. I mean, I was absolutely freaking terrified of what she was going to say. So after kind of like bobbing around, what I was actually calling for, finally, I was just like, so I wanted to tell you, I'm pregnant. And of course she was ecstatic. She was so happy. And I was like, oh, so you're not mad? She's like, of course I'm not mad. Like she was talking, they had just had her and my dad had a conversation like just earlier that week, where she was like, I don't know if she's ever gonna have kids, or if that's something she's even thinking about, I mean, I think I was 24, 25 at the time. She's like, so I don't know what she's planning on doing with that. So, but, so, found out I was pregnant. Yay. Pretty much told everybody right away. I had to tell my sister-in-law was always like really excited, like for some reason, always looking forward to us having kids. So I called them up and asked them, if they were at home, and she was like, yeah. It's like, well, if y'all don't mind, me and John are just gonna come over and hang out for a little while. So they're like, yeah, come on over, So we went over and spent some time with them, and I had the pregnancy test that the doctor gave me, the little cassette one or whatever, and in the little bag, little Ziploc bag they gave it to me in. And I had that in my pocket. And she was, sitting there, and we were just talking. I was like, oh, yeah, cool. I wanted to show you something, too, by the way. I was like, this looks pretty neat. And I pulled it out of my pocket and handed it to her, and she freaked out. She's like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Are you serious? And, like, started crying. Like, I wish I could have had that on camera. I mean, she just started crying. She was like, she just lost it. Not the reaction I was expecting, to be honest, but she was so happy. But, anyways, let's see, where do we go from this one? I had no idea how far along I was at all. So, I went ahead and scheduled an appointment with, my OBGYN, which was actually a referral from my sister-in-law. She's like, he's awesome. He delivered my son. He's good. Everything. She really liked him. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm down with that. So I made an appointment with them, and of course it was like 2 or 3 weeks away. But let's see, I found out on a Thursday or Friday that I was pregnant, and then that Monday, the following Monday, I was getting ready to leave work, and I went to go use the bathroom, and when I went to use the bathroom, it was like I started my period. It was like blood, like, I freaked out. I was like, because I knew I was pregnant. That's not supposed to happen. I mean, it was a lot of blood. So I freaked out. I ran straight home, and my sister-in-law met me at our house, and we went to the ER. And I went back in and told when they take you to like triage or whatever, and just talking to them about what happened and what it was like and all that stuff. And I figured it wasn't good at all. So I was really nervous. And of course, since I just found out I was pregnant, the doctors kind of did a little bit of an external examination or whatever, and they called in an ultrasound tech, which where we live, it's a little dinky hospital, so they just had I had to call in an ultrasound tech, so I had to wait on her to get there. So I had to wait like 45 minutes for her to get there. And in the meantime, they're pumping me full of water. They're like, here, drink this. Keep drinking this. Keep drinking this. And I had to pee so bad. It was horrible. Of course, couldn't use the bathroom until after the ultrasound. But anyways, she finally got there. And she started doing the ultrasound. Of course, I couldn't see anything. She wouldn't let me actually look at the screen. So that made me nervous. But, she was, doing a little thing with the little ultrasound knob thing. I wanted to kill her because I just wanted to use the bathroom so bad. She just kept pushing. But she told me everything looked fine. Baby looked fine. And she let me listen to the heartbeat, which was awesome. I just sat there and smiled like crazy. But she said everything was fine. And at that appointment, she said that I looked to be about 8 weeks. So I was already 8 weeks along, and I had no idea that I was pregnant. Then, fast forward to our actual appointment with our doctor for my first ultrasound with him. First I met with him, talked to him a little bit. He did, the pap smear, like the pelvic exam. He did felt for my uterus, I guess, from like that outside. And even then he was like, yeah, you're measuring about 8 weeks. And that was 2 weeks after I had the first ultrasound at the ER. So he said, yeah, you're measuring about 8 weeks. I was like, okay. So they took me to the ultrasound room to have another ultrasound done. And my sister-in-law was with me for that one too. And when they showed me, like, I was watching the screen, and as soon as I saw the baby, I was like, holy crap. That baby is big. Like, I was expecting to see a little peanut or something, like the first ultrasound when you have an ultrasound, you usually just see like just this little nub, like this little thing in there. But this was a baby. This was like, you could see little arms and you could see these little feet. And I just looked at my sister and I was like, holy crap. And she said, the ultrasound tech told me that she thought I was actually measuring to be about 12 or 13 weeks at that point, which was, holy crap, 12 weeks, really? Anyways, we, nothing really, anything happened really, as far as like between then and like all of our appointments were pretty normal, and then when I got to be about I was about 18 weeks, almost 19 weeks, because we had already scheduled our appointment to find out the sex of the baby. I woke up one morning. I think I was supposed to be at work that afternoon or something, but I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to have to go to the bathroom. When I went to the bathroom, I had the worst pain ever. I mean, I didn't know what in the world was wrong. Like, I thought something was really, really wrong. It was really bad. I thought I was like going into labor or something. But after I used the bathroom, I got up and I felt okay. It still kind of hurt a little bit, but then as I was laying in bed, it got worse, and it was just like somebody was just doing this to my insides. It hurt so bad. I was crying. I was literally in a ball on in the fetal position on our bed, screaming. So I called my husband. He was at work. He wouldn't be leaving work until about 8 or so that morning. So I called him. I texted him. And I was like, "You've got to hurry up, get home. You have to hurry up and get home." And I told him what was happening. He came home and everything, and wanted to check on me, see if I was okay, because he's came in there and I was curled up on the bed. He's like, "Are you okay?" And about the time it, wrenched up again, and I just screamed. And he was like, "Okay, come on, we're taking you to the doctor." Anyways, turned out I had kidney stones. I was passing a kidney stone, and that is why that hurt me so bad. And while they sent me to have an ultrasound done on my kidneys and to have an ultrasound done to check on the baby, make sure baby was okay. And my husband sort of convinced the lady to maybe give us a clue as to what we were having. And she wouldn't actually tell us what we were having. She said, "But if I happen to pass by baby and you do or do not see something, who am I to stop you from looking?" So we kind of knew it was a girl even before we went to the doctor's office to find out for sure. But we went to find out for sure. My mom was with me, which was I was really glad about that. She came up and stayed a few weeks with us. But during that appointment, my ultrasound tech actually told me that I had a short cervix, which it scared me because she was talking about, sometimes women who have a short cervix, sometimes the cervix can't sustain the pregnancy as far as like keeping baby in, so they go into preterm labor, which scared me. But then my doctor told me, everything looks fine. He looked over the pictures and he, felt that there was nothing to worry about. So that was good. And then fast forward to my due date. My due date they had my due date set at October 31st. October 31st came and went. Nothing. So, I don't know how many miles I walked up and down our street trying to jog baby loose. Come on. Nothing worked. Finally, my doctor was like, "Well, we're just going to go ahead," and he wanted me to go into labor on my own, but since that wasn't happening and it was already almost a week past my due date, he was like, "Well, we'll go ahead and schedule you for induction on this day." Like, okay. So we went in November 7th. Was it 7th? No, November 5th. Yeah, November 5th. I think it was like a Thursday or something. Went in that morning to be induced. And the whole process, the initial process in the beginning was really fast. I got to the hospital, they changed me into my gowns, they logged all my information to the computer that they have to. They, hooked me up to all my monitors, they got my IV going, and then when my doctor got there, he broke my water and I got an epidural. And I laid there all day. Not doing nothing, just chilling. And then finally, the closer into the evening it got, I actually started to feel some really bad back pain. So the closer it got to me actually trying to push and have her, the less the epidural was working. And what actually happened was the epidural came out. Somehow it slipped out, whatever. I guess from them trying to change my position so I could get comfortable. Whatever. It stopped working. The only thing that I couldn't feel was my toes. It was like my legs. Like I couldn't move my legs on my own. I had to have my mom do it, but I pushed for like 3.5 hours, I think. About 3.5 hours before she was actually born. But it was at the point where if my doctor would have said we got to do a C-section, I totally would have been down for the C-section. Absolutely. So, but the reason that it was so hard for me to push her out was because she was actually facing up instead of facing down like she was supposed to, and her head was kind of wedged in my pubic bone. So, he had to use the little suction thing, but it kept popping off. He'd pull and it'd pop off. And he'd put it back on, he'd pull and it'd pop off. And finally, there she was. But I couldn't hold her straight away because there was meconium in my fluid, in the amniotic fluid, whenever they broke my water. So they said that they would have to get her all cleared away first before I could hold her. And that was awesome, though. Like, being a mom is awesome. I was sore for days. Seriously, I had to sit. I don't think I had anything to show you, but I couldn't sit normally, like just like a normal person. I had to sit kind of like this, like on my hip, because my freaking butt hurt. TMI, whatever you want to say. Like, seriously, it was awful. So finally, my nurse, who was amazing, comes in with this little inflatable donut, and she's like, here you go. So I can finally sit up like a normal person. But the doctors would come in and check and everything, and my doctor told me that what he thinks actually happened and why I had so much pain sitting is that I cracked my tailbone giving birth. Cracked my tailbone giving birth. What? That's possible? Apparently so. But worth it. Totally worth it. So hopefully I can give her a little brother or sister soon. You know, we're working on that, girl. Working on that. So this video is actually turning out to be super long. Like, really long. And I'm so sorry, you guys. But thanks for watching. Really. If you're still hanging out, you guys rock. Really. But Kendra B did ask me a couple questions. She wanted to know how old I was and how old my husband is, and then how many kids we want. I'm 27. I'll be 28 in March. My husband is 29. So we're still young. You know, right? I feel old, but anyways, as far as how many kids we want, we've never really had an actual discussion of a number. I'm the youngest of 3, and my husband has 3 other brothers. He has 2 younger brothers and an older brother. So I would like to have like maybe 3 or 4. You know, but I don't know, he's really, really conscious of like wanting to make sure we have enough money to to buy the things we need, to make sure we have everything taken care of, so we are not like really struggling. And it took some convincing actually to have him consider baby number 2. At first he would never give me a real answer, and then finally I was like, look, can you Can we just have this conversation, please? Like an actual conversation about this. And finally, he was like, let's do this. And that was a year ago. Still nothing. So we're hoping something happens. Like, I'm hoping that this cycle is the cycle. I feel really good about February, but we'll just have to see. I can't look into the future, just have to try and stay positive and keep praying. Keep praying, keep praying. Oh, and speaking of praying, for any of my subscribers that follow me on Instagram, you know that I've been asking everybody to pray super hard for my sister-in-law. She went into preterm labor and is currently in the hospital. Her water broke and everything, but the baby's stable, mama's stable, everything's good, everything looks great. So the doctors are just letting her hang out. The longer baby stays in, the better. As long as there's no kind of infections coming up or anything like that, they're going to let homeboy hang in there. So far, their goal was to get her to 24 weeks, which her water broke at 23 weeks in one day, and she was 24 weeks like a day or two ago, so that is great. They say that her, the chances of the baby surviving now has gone up 30% more than what it was when she first came in. And that was like a week difference, and it made that huge of a difference. So we have all been praying like crazy. Our family, her family, friends of ours, co-workers of our families. I mean, we just have this huge prayer army going on, and it is amazing to see what God is doing. Seriously amazing. So anyways, on that note, I'm gonna stop talking because this is actually really ridiculously long, and I'm really sorry. But I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I'm really excited to see how many of you guys are following our journey. And I can't wait to see some BFPs from you guys. And I'm hoping to see them soon. I need some positive vibes going on. So the more BFPs I see, the better I feel that I'm gonna get mine. So we will talk to you ladies later, and hopefully I'll have a good update soon. So bye y'all.